Luno, the Moth and the Moonflowers by Snuggle. When the last warm stripe of sunset faded from the sky, the world took a slow, quiet breath. The bright, noisy colors of the day softened into a deep and peaceful blue. It was in this gentle moment, beneath a cool shelter of ferns, that a little moth named Luno woke up. He stretched his wings, two delicate shapes like pale, fallen leaves. They shimmered softly in the first hint of moonlight, brushed with a dust of silver and pearl. Luno was a creature of the night. His day was the world's deep sleep, and his world began now, in the cool, quiet dark. All around him, the garden began to hum its nighttime song. A family of frogs by the lily pond began to croak, their voices low and rumbly. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. The sound was a soft, steady beat in the stillness. A little breeze whispered through the tall, thin blades of grass, telling secrets to the sleepy dandelions. The night was alive with these quiet, gentle sounds. Luno felt the familiar pull, the instinct of a moth. Far away, outside the garden walls, a big, bright light on a tall pole had just buzzed on. It was a loud, demanding light, a light that shouted for attention. Just then, another moth, with wings as pale and shimmery as Luno's, flew past him in a hurry. "Come on, Luno!" The other moth, whose name was Flicker, chirped excitedly. "The big light is on! It's the brightest one tonight!" Luno watched the distant buzzing glare. "It is very bright," he said, "but it buzzes so loudly. It makes my wings feel fuzzy." Flicker circled in the air, impatient. "Who cares? It's the biggest light. It's the best. Why would you want any other light?" And with a final frantic flutter, Flicker zipped up and over the garden wall, a tiny speck racing toward the big, buzzing lamp. Luno watched him go. He felt the pull of the big light, but his heart felt something else, too. It was a different kind of pull. It was not loud or demanding. It was a soft, gentle glow coming from deep inside the garden. It was a whisper of light, a milky, pale glimmer that seemed to be calling just to him. His curiosity was stronger than his instinct. He decided to follow the quiet light instead. He lifted off from under the ferns, his wings making no sound at all. He fluttered silently over the cool, damp grass, which was wet with evening dew. The little drops of water sparkled under the rising moon, like a carpet of scattered diamonds. He flew past a bed of tall, white lilies. They were closed for the day, but their scent was still heavy in the air. It was a sweet, dreamy smell, like rain and sugar mixed together. Luno paused for a moment, breathing it in before continuing his journey. His path took him over an old stone walkway that cut through the garden. He landed for a moment on one of the flat gray stones. It was still faintly warm, holding the memory of the afternoon sun. The warmth felt nice on his tiny feet. It was a quiet, sleepy warmth, a gentle good night from the day that was gone. He flew on and soon came to a small, dark pond. The water was perfectly still, like a piece of polished black glass. At first, it looked like an empty, dark hole in the middle of the garden. There was no light coming from it at all. Luno hovered over its surface, his wings beating the quiet air. As he looked down, he saw a beautiful surprise. The pond was not empty. It was full of stars. The real stars, high up in the deep sky, were reflected perfectly on the water, and there, among them, was the shimmering reflection of his own pale wings. The dark, quiet pond did not make its own light, but it held the light of the whole sky. It was a gentle keeper of beauty. The soft glow ahead of him grew a little stronger, a little clearer. It led him through a patch of tall, whispering grass that was taller than he was. The blades rustled around him as he flew through. like the pages of a very old and quiet book. Finally, he came to a hidden corner of the garden, a secret place he had never seen before. And here, his journey ended. Here was the source of the beautiful, quiet light. It was not a lamp, it was a garden full of flowers that bloomed only at night. They were not bright and colorful like the flowers of the day. These blossoms were the color of moonlight itself, pale white, soft cream, and shimmering silver. Their petals were thin and delicate, and they seemed to tremble with a gentle life in the faint breeze. They glowed. Each one gave off its own soft, milky light, and together, they filled the hidden corner with a peaceful, radiant calm. Luno hovered among them, his wings beating slowly. He was mesmerized. The air was filled with a new scent, a perfume that was softer and calmer than the lilies. It was a quiet, powdery smell that was as gentle as the flower's light. This was a secret world, a garden that only woke up when the rest of the world was asleep. He flew closer to one of the largest blossoms, a beautiful flower with petals like white silk. He felt a sense of wonder, but also a little bit of sadness for them. He whispered his question into the quiet air. "You bloom when no one sees you," he said softly. "Aren't you lonely?" The flower did not answer with a voice, but the whole garden answered him. The blossoms all swayed gently on their stems, and as they moved, they released another wave of their sweet, soft scent. The scent was their quiet song. The big, round moon drifted higher in the sky, and its pure silver light shone down upon the garden. The moonlight caught the tiny drops of dew that rested on every single petal. Suddenly, the garden was filled with 1,000,000 tiny sparkles. The dewdrops glittered like tiny, perfect stars, scattering silver dots of light across the leaves and all over the dark ground. The light danced everywhere. Luno watched, his little moth heart filled with a great, peaceful awe, but his mind was still confused. "It is beautiful," he thought, "but it is still a secret. What is the point of a secret beauty that no one comes to see?" His moth brain, so used to the simple idea of chasing a bright light, was trying to find a reason. He thought back on his journey through the garden. He remembered the dark pond. It did not try to be bright. It just lay still and held the starlight. He remembered the warm stone. It did not shout about the sun it remembered. It just held the warmth quietly. And he remembered the sweet scent of the lilies, a gift they gave just to the night air. None of those things were performing for him. They were just being themselves. He looked at the glowing flowers again, and finally, he understood. They were not like the buzzing lamp that shouted, "Look at me!" They were like the dark pond. Their glow was not a beacon to attract an audience. It was simply the color of their spirit. Their beautiful scent was not a call for attention. It was just the way they breathed. They did not need a reason to bloom. They bloomed because that is what a night flower does. A deep sense of peace washed over Luno. The restless, fluttery feeling he always had, the urge to chase the biggest, brightest, loudest light, was gone. He chose one of the large open blossoms and landed gently in its center. The soft, cool petals curved around him like a perfect, glowing cradle. For the first time in his life, he didn't chase light. He rested in it. He was not separate from the beauty of the night anymore. He was a part of it. The calm glow of the moon shone down, and Luno's own pale wings reflected its light. He was now a quiet, shimmering glow in a garden full of quiet, shimmering glows. The night was not an empty space to fly through. It was a living, breathing garden, and he was home.